My full name is Lettie May Letson Nave. Letson is my maiden name. My mother's clan is Kia'ani, and she was born for Coyote Pass clan, Maitishkijni. And my father's clan is Totsoni, Big Water clan. My parents were cattle people. They had sheep and cattle, and that's what they did to make a living. My dad worked with cattle, and my mom did rug weaving. As I got older, my parents tried to take me to school every time whenever I turned six years old, and they would drive me to Chinle boarding school or Lukachike, I don't know how many times. And then when I started crying, they just loaded me up and took me home. So by the time I was 11 years old, my dad was trying to teach me how to learn ABC on the cardboard boxes, words that I see. And one day we were at a trading post, and the trader was really nice, smiling, and was real happy, and he was talking to me, but I didn't understand what he was saying, and my dad had to interpret for me. And then I got to thinking, oh, it would be nice if I could just talk with him, if I could go to school and learn his language, and then I could talk with him and some other people like him. And then I got to thinking that for myself, and uh, so on the way back in the wagon, traveling back to our area, which takes like 5 hours just to get back home, I started asking Dad about the letters on the boxes and things like that, about school. And so he gave me school. He said, if you go to school, you had to go for 12 years. I do not want you just to go 1 year or 2 years and then you just, you decided you don't want to go anymore. He said, you had to be, if you go to school, you go for 12 years and then you graduate. And then you can get a good job out here or anywhere, he said. So I had this 12, the number really good pretty in my head. So we got to talking, and then I told him, I said, well, I'm going to go. And I told my parents that this time, no matter how badly I'm crying, how loud I'm crying, you just drop me off and leave. I can cry all I want over there. And don't change your mind because I'm crying again. So we made a commitment to ourselves, I guess, and we left. I'm the oldest in the family, so once I have some siblings that were around the house, to help Mom, my brothers, my younger brothers, and being the oldest, I would go over to my grandma and help. Those elderlies used to always get together and talk about education and all the children going off to school and the BIA coming around taking their children and trying to encourage them or take them to school. But at that time, they were wanting me to be a culture teacher for the whole clan system out here, the community. And my elders were saying that you should stay here and be a culture teacher someday. Just make sure that all the culture, all the tradition and the way of spiritual life to all be carried on to the next generation. They said we'll be gone. Somebody has to go on with our culture, and they would say that to me, and I just thought about it. I didn't know, but I mean they were talking about every family, every so many family from somehow there should be a plan as a tribe. That's what my dad and my grandpa, they always talk about it like that. And then I thought. So if we don't do that, our culture and our language is going to be gone before we know it. And so they were aware of it, and they were really struggling about it. So when I told Dad I want to go to school, then my dad and I agreed, and then we went and visit my grandparents. I told them, I said, look, I'm going to school to learn the language. and to learn about all these people. But I am not going to go to school to just forget my language and to forget the way, what you guys taught us in the home and the meaning of all that stuff. I said, those are going to be mine. It's going to stay with me. So when I come back, when I get married, you're going to see my kids all come and participate in ceremonies, and they'll wear their traditional clothes, and I'll keep them as, teach them the Navajo. So I made that I guess a promise to my elders that I would carry on, no matter how much education I get. I will always be Navajo, language wise and culture wise. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Like we had met in passing several times before we ever really met. And here she knew the same people I knew, small world. And we just kind of come together, I guess you could say. Just hit it off.
The Head Start program was started to give the preschool children opportunity to learn some of the to get prepared for academic education in kindergarten. Everybody was new in the Head Start Center, and we were trying to gather all of our supplies and stuff. And they didn't give you everything. You had to go get whatever you need to have your classes.
Well, it's a good program. It's urgently needed. A lot more is needed here on the reservation in the way of education. Head Start programs are good for introducing these young kids to education and trying to develop their brains while they're real young, which is hard to do when you have so many obstacles in the way.
I was asked to run for the chapter again. This time, I didn't want to, but people start asking me because they know me a little more by now, and I've been around. I guess they know. I've been around here before and retired and stuff. So they came and they asked me. Then I won this time. I was the chapter president.
When she was elected, it was I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty nice, but she had tried to run for office before that, and I was at that meeting. I remember being at that meeting when somebody nominated her, and someone else gets up and says, "Oh, we don't want her because she's educated." It's really weird how education is wanted. I mean, people want you to be educated, but then they don't want your education telling them what to do sometimes and so on.
As a chapter president, I met more people, got to know more of my local people, and we try to do everything we can. But it's very difficult to do it out here with no money. I mean, money is very limited, and you can't get things done unless you have the money.
One of the things that I admire most about her is her family. She is very family-oriented person. That brings more, like, she was always one. She wanted to make sure that we went herded sheep. I used to be the community would say, "Oh, who's that white sheep herder? Look, you got a white sheep herder." Tease my grandfather that he had a white sheep herder. But she always took us to the canyon. She's like, even now in this picture, she had all of us cousins. She's very instrumental in promoting family in our family, keeping us all together. She always wanted us to practice, she wanted us to, we practice our Diné culture, our Navajo culture, but she also didn't hesitate to expose us to like the powwow culture, to the North American Indian culture. So she was very open about that. And then she, once again, it goes back to my hero, because this is me. I was probably following her. Look at, she's probably also but this is our canyon trail. This is the trail she used to do every day when she was younger. And I'd probably be behind her, I would say, but that was me. But she was a good leader. I just love following her.
No matter how much education I get, I will always be Navajo, language-wise and culture-wise.